I used to joke that water was overrated. I'd say things like coffee has water in it, or beer counts as hydration, or I'll drink when I'm thirsty. I said it with that casual confidence old men have when they think they've figured life out. I knew people who carried water bottles everywhere they went. They annoyed me. I thought they were dramatic, fearful, health-obsessed. I never wanted to be that kind of man. I was practical old school, the kind who lived on routine and stubbornness. I drank coffee every morning, soda in the afternoons, whiskey on weekends. Water, maybe a glass every other day. Maybe. I never imagined something so simple, so ordinary, so basic would be the reason I'm lying here now, hooked up to machines with tubes in my arms, trying to understand how I destroyed an organ that had spent 76 years trying to take care of me. My wife, Jean, always nagged me about it. She kept a big blue water bottle by my recliner, filled it every day, and every day it sat untouched. She'd walk by, see it still full, and say gently, "Harold, please drink some." And I'd answer the same way every time, "I'm not thirsty." She'd sigh. She'd shake her head. She'd sometimes get frustrated, but she never gave up trying. I gave up on myself long before she did. The first signs didn't look like kidney problems. They looked like normal aging. Or at least that's what I convinced myself. Fatigue that clung to me even after a full night's sleep. Dry skin that cracked at the knuckles. Dark circles under my eyes. Headaches that pulsed behind my forehead. I wrote them off one by one. Old age, weather stress, nothing serious. My body was whispering, but I wasn't listening. Thirst was something I ignored so often that eventually it stopped knocking. The swelling started in my ankles. Jean pointed it out one evening when I lifted my legs onto the ottoman. "Harold, your socks are leaving marks," she said. "That's not normal." I shrugged. "Circulation," I said. "Happens at my age." She wasn't convinced. She begged me to get checked. But I always had an excuse: too busy, too tired, too annoyed at the idea of waiting in a doctor's office for hours. Then the cramps started. Horrible twisting cramps that seized my calves in the middle of the night. I'd jolt awake, gasping, gripping my leg as if someone were carving into the muscle with knives. Jean would rush to my side, massaging the muscle, putting warm towels on it, whispering, "Please see a doctor. Please." I always said the same thing. "It'll pass." But things don't pass when you don't change. Things get worse. They grow in the dark and come for you when you're weakest. Jean passed away 4 years ago. A stroke. Quick. Final. The quiet after her death was something I never learned to live with. The house felt bigger. The days felt longer. And without her there to remind me, to scold me gently, to place a water bottle in my hand, I drank even less. Coffee became my comfort. Soda became my distraction. Whiskey became the silence filler. Water became something I forgot existed. My daughters tried to step in. They'd visit and find empty soda cans on the counter, coffee cups everywhere, whiskey bottles in the recycling bin. They'd search the fridge and sigh when they saw the gallon jugs of water untouched. "Dad, you need to hydrate," they'd say. I'd tell them I was fine, that they were overreacting, that their generation worried too much. They looked at each other. Sometimes those worried glances adult children exchange when they realize their parent is slipping, stubborn, unreachable. The real warning came one morning when I woke up nauseous. Not sick nauseous, poison nauseous. My mouth tasted metallic. My breath smelled off. And suddenly, everything I ate made me queasy. I thought it was a stomach bug. I waited a few days. It got worse. Then came the confusion moments when my thoughts felt slow, thick, foggy. Times when I walked into a room and couldn't remember why. a creeping sense that something inside me was shutting down, one dial at a time. My daughter found me sitting on the couch, staring at the wall, unable to answer her, for a full minute. She touched my forehead. "Dad? What's happening?" I mumbled something, I don't even remember what. She called an ambulance. I tried to stop her. I couldn't even stand. At the hospital, the doctor came in with the kind of expression no one wants to see, calm, steady, serious. He said my kidneys were failing. He said the numbers were dangerously low. He said toxins were building in my blood. He said this had been happening for years. Years I ignored. Years I shrugged off symptoms. Years I believed I was stronger than biology. When he asked about hydration, I lied. I said I drank enough. My daughter cut in. "No, he doesn't." The doctor nodded as if he already knew. He explained how kidneys rely on water to flush out waste, how chronic dehydration forces them to work harder, how diabetes, high blood pressure, and my drinking habits all made it worse, how the damage wasn't sudden at all, it was the result of decades of neglect, decades of me choosing everything except water. They hooked me to fluids, machines, needles, beeping monitors. I lay there feeling completely exposed, completely foolish. My body wasn't the enemy, I was. Dialysis began soon after. I thought it would be temporary. It wasn't. 3 times a week, sitting for 4 hours while a machine cleaned the blood my kidneys could no longer handle. The first session was humiliating. I looked around at others, older, sicker, thinner than me, and realized I had joined a club nobody ever wants to be part of. A nurse told me gently, "Kidneys don't heal, Harold. They decline." I asked if I could reverse it. She shook her head slowly. Dialysis saved my life, but it also consumed it. No more long walks, no more spontaneous outings. My world shrank to appointments and fatigue. The tiredness after each session was bone deep, like someone unplugged my soul. I'd go home, collapse on the bed, stare at the ceiling, and think about how something so simple, so preventable, had led me here. One afternoon during treatment, I overheard a teenager complaining about water, how he hated drinking it, how boring it was. His mother told him gently, "Your body needs it." He rolled his eyes. I wanted to reach across the room, grab his shoulders, and tell him, "If you don't drink water now, you'll be sitting in this chair someday praying for a second chance you won't get." But I didn't, because regret often leaves you quiet. At home, my daughters help as much as they can. They fill water bottles for me, not because it will save my kidneys, but because it will protect whatever function I have left. They beg me to drink. Sometimes I do, sometimes I forget. Habits don't die easily, but consequences don't die either. They live with you. They breathe with you. They follow you. Some nights, lying here in the hospital bed again after complications, I think about Jean. I think about how she tried so hard to keep me here longer, how she placed water in my hand and I placed pride in front of her. How she must have felt watching me choose everything except self-preservation. I wish I had listened. I wish I had cared. I wish I had been the man she believed I was. Now, with the machines beside me humming like a second heartbeat, I understand something I wish I'd understood decades earlier. Water isn't optional. Kidneys aren't optional. Health isn't optional. You can't out-stubborn biology. You can't out-smirk consequences. You can't live on coffee, soda, alcohol, or ignorance. The body keeps score. Eventually, it collects. If someone were hearing this, someone like me, someone who shrugs off hydration, someone who jokes about not drinking water, I'd tell them the truth. You're not invincible. Thirst isn't a suggestion. It's already a warning. Dry mouth headaches, swelling, foggy mind, dark urine. These aren't annoyances. They're alarms. And if you ignore them long enough, you'll end up like me, wishing for something as simple as normal kidneys, wishing for days without machines, wishing for the chance to go back and drink a single glass of water. If I could go back, I'd choose water over pride, hydration over habit, life over stubbornness. I'd drink when Jean asked me to. I'd listen when my daughters begged me. I'd treat my body like it was on my side instead of something I could push endlessly. But I can't go back. I can only say this with the weight of everything I've lost. Water could have saved my kidneys. And if you're like me, it can still save yours.